what's the process for vision creation? The only question you should always be asking yourself is, what do I want to build here? What's the vision? Now you ask me, it's not really a process. A vision is an idea that consumes you. It's an idea that burns inside of you. Just thinking about it gets you going. Everyone has the ability spiritually to have a vision. And the cool thing is this, no one else can give you the vision. They can inspire it. Even God himself made it so that he doesn't choose the vision. He gave us the ability to choose our own vision, which is what we want to do with our life. And he created laws, put them in place to spiritually and energetically help us to achieve that vision. I'll give you some key things you need to know so you know what you're talking about here is not a vision. A lot of people set targets and goals and think that's a vision. That's not a vision, man. A lot of people put a placeholder mission statement in there and go, that's my vision. That's not a vision, man. Vision is just an idea. I'll give you some examples. Henry Ford was not the first person to create the motor vehicle. Mercedes was. But Mercedes made a car like 60 or 80 years prior to Henry Ford did. But it was bulky, it was expensive, and it wasn't easy to use, so nobody really drove it. Few rich people had. He saw that and he thought, I want to create a motor vehicle, car, that's affordable. Everyday, day-to-day person could drive it, and it's smaller, easy to use. Do you think he was a mechanic? You know he didn't even get past 3rd grade? He wasn't that smart. But it was extremely powerful because he used the principles of what Think and Grow Rich teaches. He just brought together people that were smarter than him. And his only job was to keep reminding everyone why they're there, the vision. He just had one idea in his mind. Make a horse carriage with wheels that everyone can afford, is motorized. That was the vision. It didn't have to be any more specific than that. Every day he woke up, all he thought was, have we done this yet? Have we got there? Andrew Carnegie was the richest man at the turn of the century in the 1900s. He was more rich than Warren Buffett and Elon Musk combined today in his net worth. He was worth like $600 million and it was like 1890, 1900s. It's crazy. He had one vision in mind. He saw that steel was being sold for $120 a ton. All he wanted to do, the idea in his head is, how do I sell steel for $20 a ton? Make it easier and more affordable for everyone to buy. That one idea built the largest steel manufacturing business in the world. Did he know anything about steel? No. He just had the vision. He goes, I can do this. Did he knew he would get rich in the process? Yes, but is that why he did it? Because if that's why he did it, he would have cashed out on $1 million at his time and walked away, right? So when the only reason you do things, build something, is for money, you don't last that long. Because as soon as you got some money, you have no reason to do it anymore. This is why money cannot be the vision. It's only the byproduct of the vision. Now, when your vision is big and you have one, nothing you do is hard, no amount of work is too much, and everything is positive because your attitude is charged with inspiration. You feel like it's a gift to wake up and just do stuff. When you don't have a vision, you operate out of your logic, your reasoning faculty, like, I just gotta make some money, gotta pay the bills, is this smart, is this making me more than my job? Every small thing you need to do feels like a drag. Oh man, I gotta work, another hour in, someone said no. It is a superpower to have vision in life. You have a vision, someone says no to you for your offer, you go, man, I feel so sorry for you. Like, you're gonna miss out on what we're building here. You don't have a vision, someone says no to you, go, man, my offer still, the price is too high. Oh, we need payment plans, 24 months. Oh no, it's the wrong leads. Doesn't mean looking at those things is wrong in business. It just means your attitude about it is different. Remember, the business is not the goal, it's the vehicle. And too often, as an entrepreneur, we all do this. We get into business knowing this was just a vehicle to get us to somewhere. But as soon as we get a little bit of progress, we get busy with the vehicle itself and we forget where we're driving. Tell me, how foolish is it if I spend all this energy, money, time, effort to get a car under my feet because I was very convinced, very inspired to drive all the way to Niagara Falls. But halfway through, I started bugging with the dashboard and getting gas in it and changing the tires and coloring the car and start to compare my car to other people's car and start to get different mechanics, and I'd never even get to Niagara. And 3 years in, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wait, why did I get this car in the first place? Oh, it was better than my old car? Oh, it was better on mileage? Yeah, but for what? Why does it matter? Are you living in the car? No, you're just driving it. So what are you doing with this? Where are you going? If you don't have somewhere going towards a vision, no matter what car you put under your feet, any vehicle is not good enough. It's too hard, it's too expensive, and there's no point to it. It's meaningless. When you understand, you put all these things into one, you understand what I mean by, you should be asking yourself, how do I live more? You live more by having something to live for. That's what a vision means. That's what it means to have vision. It's just an idea. You want to build the greatest something in the world, the first of its kind. You're going to be the number one this and this. It doesn't even matter. Don't look deeper into it. As long as when you think of it, lights you up. You're like, yeah, man, that's exciting. And here's the cool thing. When you have a proper vision, you attract to you some incredible talent. Now, you better hope to God you never get a talented person working for you without a vision, because they will leave your ass faster than you could pay them more. I was just talking to a business owner and they're like, my salespeople, they used to close at 70%. Now they're closing at 20%. I'm like, you're so lucky they're not closing at 70%. They're like, why? But because the kind of leader you're being now, person closing 70% would leave you in a heartbeat, go somewhere else, without shift in perspective. You think someone closing 70% of their deals are going to work for you? They'll go somewhere where their 70% is rewarded and there's someone that could show them how to become better themselves and give them purpose in life. You're just giving them a job. Guys, in other words, you now work for yourself, but that doesn't mean you're alone. You're your first employee, and all you've done, without noticing, carry over the mindset of working for someone for money to working for yourself for money. When does working for money end? Because I promise you, the day it ends is the day you start living more. You'll feel different about yourself and what you do. 20 grand will feel like $2 million, but when you work for money, $2 million just feels like 20 grand. Decide on what you want to build here. Don't get your mind caught up in the details of how you're doing this or what to do. Just keep thinking, why am I doing this? I'll leave you with this. I spent 5 months living with essentially a person who's done billions of dollars in revenue. $2 billion in revenue. He sold his company for close to $800 million. Yeah. 5 months, I got to live around and be with him. I slept at his house for a few months out of that time, and I got some really cool time with him. And one of the weirdest things he tried to teach me that I wasn't ready to hear at the time, that now I understand and I agree. I went up and I said, what's the primary job of a CEO? Of a leader? Like what should I be doing every day? Because at that time I just made like $650,000 like recently in a month. And so I was on top of the class. I made more money than him that month. I'm like, I'm better than you in business, right? But I asked him, like, hey man, you sold your company for like hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. He was making 60 million a month at the peak of his business. I'm like, oh man, teach me. What am I supposed to be doing? What's my job? He told me only one thing. And at the time, I'm like, there's no way that's the only job, man. You're just talking. He goes, Armin, your only job as a leader is to constantly and never-endingly reinforce the vision. I remember hearing him, I'm like, yeah. Reinforce it. I get it. Like every day, I let them know what we're doing and the cause. I just brushed it off. He goes, no, you don't understand. Like, that's your only job. That's the only job that only you're supposed to be doing, that no one else is supposed to be doing. And you need to make sure you do a good job at it. And I think of it this way. Imagine every day at 6 a.m., the clock strikes and your mind and memory reset and you forget why you're doing this. That's your job. Remind yourself, remind each other, remind your team, remind your clients why you're doing this. And if the answer is to make 300 grand a year, now you can see where the problem starts. I think you know and I know both. If you just sit down and give yourself some patience and respectful amount of time to answer that question properly for yourself and answer something that lights you up, I shouldn't be giving you an answer. Then you'll know the difference within yourself intuitively already. Oh man, now I found the vision. That's the vision. It's not a right answer, the vision. It's the answer that feels right. Think about like an entrepreneur, man, or a salesperson, someone that's selling something. We're like soldiers, right? Like entrepreneurs are like soldiers, like salespeople. Think about the ability to go and sell something you believe in. It's like a soldier. Soldiers don't go to war based on logical thinking because it makes sense. Yeah, if I just spent 4 years risking my life, 93% chance I'll die, but I think the payout. You don't calculate it, do you? No, what do soldiers go to war for? They go to war for a cause. They believe in something. They believe in a cause for what they're fighting for. What does it tell you? Soldiers operate out of just pure inspiration, just an emotion. They feel pride. They feel something. They have a vision for why they're doing it. They see a better country, for example, or a safer country. Zero logic in that decision. Salespeople, entrepreneurs, same kind of mentality. You get into it because you believe in something. See, you guys believed in a better life for yourself. It's a small start, isn't it? And now your responsibility is to teach other people to believe in a better life for themselves through the thing you teach them. See, there's a cause here. But as soon as you're in battle, you start messing with your gun and fixing your outfits. Oh, the feet smell in the boots. See the problem? That guy gets shot first second on field. Oh, I'm out. I haven't felt alive for a while now in my business. Yeah, because you went to war for a cause and you stayed there for the pay. Just go back to why you started. That's step one and the only step of finding your vision again. You started it. You never not had vision. Don't lie to yourself this way. Even if you were mostly money motivated, you would have never started without some belief in yourself, and you couldn't believe in yourself with some vision about who you're going to become by doing this. You believed in something. Believing in yourself is a start to a vision. Now believing in something that could affect the whole world is a vision. I'll give you a rule of thumb. Goals and targets, you could do them on your own. I want to lose some weight. I don't need anybody. I want to make some money. I don't need anybody. Just go work. It's only in visions that's so big you can't do it alone. That's the main differentiator between knowing if you have a vision in place or some goal or target in place. It's not a vision to make $1 million. It's a vision to become or to build $1 million business or become something that's a millionaire. You need other people for that. It's a vision that requires other people. That's how you know it's a vision. And vision is usually based on something you want to build, not something you want to just get. Build the first of its kind of something, the largest of this. And it doesn't even matter what that means. It matters that you feel something when you say it. And that is what makes you feel good every day waking up to work. Now on the matter of working 12 hours a day, this notion you have that, oh shit, Armin, when do we ever like let loose and just pop some champagne? You look at all these past clients that I worked with that made all these millions of dollars. First of all, they still work. I want to make that clear because there's no something for nothing in life. Pray to God you never reach a point where you don't need to work, because that's the day you stop needing a reason to live. Enjoying yourself is different than having absolutely no purpose or vocation in your life, man. Don't mix the two up. Being purposeless is not a vacation. It's miserable. Trust me. I've been in those phases when I didn't need the money and I stopped caring about why I'm doing this, and I just had a bunch of money I spent to do stuff. Nothing was enough, man. So the people that you're admiring, that you're like, I want to rub shoulders with them and go hang out with them and golf with them, and I want to have friends like that and hang out and like get to know people and build myself. That's beautiful, by the way. These are all great. It's just the misconceiving beliefs you have behind it. For example, you want to get yourself to a point in business where you have so much money that you don't need to work, but the business runs itself so you can go and network with people. Tell me, what are you going to talk to those people about? What are you going to network with them about? Oh, how I have a $300,000 business and I do nothing now? Do you think those people are going to want to talk to you? The guy who's making $3 million a year? The guy who's building something in his life? Do you think the people that you actually want to be friends with, like the people worthy of like speaking to for a couple hours and really build a connection with and build a mastermind with them and become friends with them? You want to be friends with someone who thinks it's cool that you don't work? See, there's just poor beliefs. I like to look at it like this. When I first got like rich, I made a lot of money, my poor kid self was still living the life. So a lot of the beliefs I had with the money I had now, I was confronting them. And I realized I had everything backwards. And the money didn't do anything to help me with that. Mentorship did. Conversations like this did. All the things I thought about people that have what I have, that I now had, is wrong. I'm thinking you make a bunch of money to go chill out. But guess what I realized? The moment I started chilling out, I met a bunch of losers. I'm like, holy shit, I got all this money. I rented a boat, a yacht, and I went to these clubs and I danced on a table and dropped 11 grand on, bottles and shit to feel cool. I'm like, but everyone around me are losers. These guys are doing nothing. That guy's working as a bouncer in the club. The other one's a DJ doing like just gigs. The other person has a terrible relationship with his girlfriend. The other one lives with his mom. Like, what the hell is everyone doing here? I'm not surrounded by winners. I thought I was in a winner zone. No. Then I realized the people I actually looked up to, admired, I'm like, I want to be like them when I get rich. Those guys are at home actually building stuff. So crazy. Those guys are spending time with their loved ones, spending time with the actual things that matter, the relationships. Those guys are working on themselves. Those guys are in a weekend course somewhere because they love learning. I'm like, holy shit, the people I actually wanted to be friends with when I became successful, they weren't anywhere to be found in the places I thought I wanted to be before I became successful. So I just invite you to question your own views on stuff like this. And always know this, I can't tell you the answer to all your questions because only within yourself and through self-analysis and looking out and studying like being a student can you really find your own answers. Be a seeker of truth. Don't let people give you truth. I'm not trying to give you truth. I'm trying to give you perspectives. You yourself inside yourself go, you know what, that sounds like a truth. I want to accept that as a truth. That's a truth. Or that's not. I'll tell you this though. There's one thing I'll tell you that absolutely stays, no matter where I go, who I talk to, and what changes in my life, stays consistent as a principle and a truth for me, is that whatever I have in my life and whatever I am in my life is a direct result of how I am thinking right now. And so if the thing I'm trying to change is my life, I shouldn't be changing my life. I should be changing my thinking. So the first step to me is always question my own thinking, not question my life circumstances. If I'm unhappy, I don't say the job is making me unhappy. I go, why am I unhappy in a job? I don't say, why is my job making me unhappy? I don't sit there and I go, why am I unhappy? I sit down and I go, why am I unhappy in this job? Then I go, if I'm unhappy, why did I choose this job? See, it's always about me. That's it. If I want something, why do I want this thing? And it's become a mastery skill, by the way, to be so calm and still in mind, to watch with such keen awareness over everything I do. It's almost like a supernatural ability. Now I sit down, like even before I think about doing something, I watch the reasoning behind the thing I'm thinking to see, is this good or not? Is this right or not? And I vet my own intent behind every small thing. It's crazy, but it creates a very peaceful mind. Like, I'll give you an example. I can give you 100 examples today alone. Not 100, like 5. I made a sale for Elite again. Somebody wanted to pay the remainder amount. This person manifested the remainder amount. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like, you really wanted this so bad. You attracted the amount. Like, it came out of nowhere. Like, she would have never assumed it would have came this way. And I stopped before I took her payment and I said, hold on a second. How much money is going to be left in your account after you pay this? And she pretty much said almost nothing. She was okay with that. Like, don't worry about it. I moved back with my parents. Like, I believe in what we're doing. I want to invest in myself. I'm like, but how are you going to pay for stuff? See, even though she was okay with it, I wasn't. It takes a serious level of self-discipline and integrity within a person's own spirit to question, even when someone's giving the rite of passage to do something that might not be right. And I looked at her and I said, how are you gonna pay for stuff? No, don't worry, I'm gonna figure it out, I'll make money. And I'm like, I love this person's like faith in their own self. It like inspired me. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give 1,000 back. I don't want the whole amount. And for her, she was like, that's a lot of money where she lives. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, no, please don't do that. Please don't do it. I don't want it back. I'll make it. And I looked at her and I said, no. At least let me give you 500 discount because I want you to have money in your account after you pay me. And she was like, you're such a nice person. I said, no problem. I sent her the invoice, but the invoice was still 1,000 off. I sit there, I go, what kind of a person does that? I'm not trying to put myself up, by the way. I'm letting you know why I did it. I'm like, only a person who's not doing this shit for money, but doing it for a purpose, for some reason, can they ever become a person like that size to do stuff like that. I'll give you another example. I could list this all day. This is the kind of behaviors, by the way, this is the kind of leadership that creates a very beautiful, fulfilling life for yourself. It doesn't matter how long you work and how long, it's just who you are. It gives you peace up here and you're just joyful. We were refunding somebody. It wasn't a good match to work with each other. We came to a settlement amount and I'm like, no problem, we'll give this money back. The invoice came in and my team paid it. And we realized the currency was wrong. They sent me an invoice currency in Canadian. And we thought it was going to be American. So the difference was like $3,500, like 3,000, almost close to $4,000. And my team came up and they're integral too, in every way possible. And they said, I think there's a mistake. We didn't like this person that much either, by the way. Like we had a really bad falling out. Like it was a really uncomfortable, you would say, conversation of a lot of not taking ownership and responsibility, a lot of like making up of things. So I had a lot of reason to want to stick it to him, is my point. I had a lot of reason to not want to cooperate with him at all. Like he kind of burned the bridge in the process of doing what he did. From on my end, like I won't do business with him, but like I won't hold him against him as a human. But I'm like, that's just how you are. That's okay. Now I know. So I got this opportunity, pay him $4,000 less than what we're supposed to back, even though he didn't even deserve that. He didn't even deserve the refund. He was not a person that you would want to cooperate with in that sense. And I looked at my team and he said, I'm just gonna wait to see if he notices. And I looked at him and I said, no, you're not, because the universe is watching. And if he doesn't find out, we already have. And we're gonna pay much more in cost than this for doing the wrong thing than we would ever spend in paying him back. He goes, you're right. He sends an email out. The guy goes, oh yeah, that was a mistake. He sends us the rest of the invoice. It was the day after that person calls me out of nowhere and says, I want to sign up for Elite. And she was nowhere to be found for 2 months. There's no way she would have made the money, bro. And not only that, today, this was 2 days ago, by the way, that happened, doing the right thing. Today, I got a message from someone on my team. Hey, your cousin's boyfriend is sending over a lead for you. He makes $10 million a year. He wants to scale his sales team to $40 million a year, and he wants your help. He's going to send you a message on Instagram. Let me ask you something, boys. Did I set that sale? Did I reach out? That guy found me. We can sit here and think these are coincidences, but I'm trying to explain to you there is a power, an invisible force behind everything you're watching yourself do that is making sure you 100% of the time when you do something wrong get punished, and 100% of the time when you do something right get rewarded. I'm now operating from this place, man. And I used to when I started. I only stopped leading from that place when I got busy counting my money. Don't ever get busy counting your money, man. Don't get busy tracking your hours clocked in. That's when you start to limit yourself, and that's when you start to really diminish the joy you have and the energy you have for building something in your life. No matter what you gain in the process to the vision, you never let that become the reason you're doing it now. This is the only real challenge of an entrepreneur, is they start with knowing who they want to become, and it's the battle of not losing yourself in the process.